Hi everyone, and welcome to this, which is actually another rerun. I just recorded a Monday's Moment and had to go and delete it because I realised the microphone wasn't actually connected properly. But today's Monday's Moment, I want to share my experience and my realisation of standing in the queue at Starbucks and moving along that customer experience of going in front of the counter, and how that made me think about customer service for me and my business, but also for all of your businesses as well. And I want to give a shout out to Harlan Hammock as well, because Harlan sent me a great voucher for my birthday for a Starbucks voucher. And I've been getting some great coffees for that and some purchases. But I treated myself to this one-off mug that I've never seen in Starbucks before. So a big shout out to you, Harlan, for giving me that as well. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you. So today I want to share that lesson, and I'll see you in a moment. Now, as I went into Starbucks this weekend, I did the usual thing, went through the doors. Now, we go to our local Starbucks because I love the people that work there. They're local people. They've worked there for such a long time. It's a great store in a great location. If you want to Google Newark-on-Trent Marketplace here in the UK, you're seeing amazing view of the marketplace. It's a fantastic place to grab a coffee. And yeah, I love the coffee. My coffee podcast is based upon Starbucks, and I drink a lot of Starbucks coffee during that podcast. But as I stood in line, I sat later on and thought to myself, what must that look like for a stranger who's never been to Starbucks before, who comes in through the door and sees people queuing up and standing there for what must seem like a long time just to get a cup of coffee. And some of it's even to get a cup of coffee to go. So how have Starbucks trained us as customers to have those expectations of that's how long it takes? And somebody must have sat down in Starbucks, and the timing of it is perfect. A number of times we go in Starbucks and there's no seats available, and my wife will say, oh, there's no seats available, we'll have to go somewhere else. And I said, we won't, because by the time actually I've gone across and we've queued for the coffee, somebody will have finished their coffee and they'll have gone. So there must be some kind of calculation on how long the queue needs to be and how long it takes for somebody to have their drink and move on, so that there's a space for the next customer. But it does make you wonder what your customers think of your business the first time they experience that customer service, that buying experience. What is it like for them? And that's what I want you to think about today. It's okay for the people that have been with you for a while, like me. As I stood in the queue, I knew what to expect. I know the process. But what about those people that are buying from you for the first time? What about those people who are purchasing that perhaps hadn't had that experience with you so far? How do they react? Now, in the whole Starbucks experience, you go in and you stand at one end of the counter, you make your purchases, and then you go and wait for your drinks at the other end of the counter. And what I started to do as I stood there and then latterly sat thinking about this video is, what is it that they have done that's enabled me as a customer to keep going and waiting in line? Sometimes the queues are quite long. What is it that's made a difference to my customer experience? And it all boils down to the fact that Starbucks have set the expectations. And they've done that in lots of different ways. They've set the expectations for new customers, for fairly new customers, and for established customers. And that's what I want you to think about today in your business. Because one of the things that you can think about is that Starbucks have done a pretty good job of establishing their brand. So whether you like Starbucks or not, whether it's Costa, whether it's obviously other coffees are available, but you understand the brand. And when you understand the brand and you see that logo, when you see that identity, very often what you're doing is you're understanding what that experience, that customer experience is going to be. The other thing is then that other people have given reviews, they've given testimonials. Other people have told you what a great store the one in Newark is, how clean it is, how tidy it is, how friendly the staff are. I mean, they're amazing staff that have been so helpful to me when I went in on crutches with my hip replacement, and during COVID, they've been amazing as well. So people say great things about you. The other thing then is there is a group that gets targeted. People of a particular type. You're either a Starbucks or a Costa. You're either a McDonald's or a Kentucky. So they target the group and then they understand what people want. So the customer experience is targeted to the group of customers that they want to keep. It's targeted to the customers that they know are going to be long-standing customers. So think about that in your own business. What does your brand reflect when it comes to customer service? What kind of reviews do you have that can educate other new customers or prospects on what to expect from a customer service point of view? And then latterly, are you really targeting those people that you really want to keep? Are you looking after them? Are you educating them? Are you giving them the level of service that is consistent? Okay. And that's what I want to talk about next, because if we want to have a customer service that is exceptional, one that people love, it's got to be consistent. I know every single time what to expect when I go into Starbucks. Wherever it is in the world, I know what to expect. So I know that through consistency. So from your point of view in your own customer service, how consistent is your customer service? Because if it isn't, then that's when you're going to start having problems, because the expectation of what I'm going to get isn't there. And that's the way you create a great customer, by making sure that you set the expectations and then you deliver those expectations. And that's really important to do that. Now, if you'd like to see some of my expectations on what kind of content, what kind of lessons, what kind of tips that I share, then I've got some Facebook groups up here. I know I've got my own groups. I've got a Facebook group for businesses. I've got a Facebook group for coaches. Lots of free content in there, lots of weekly training and tips, and lots of peer-to-peer help in there as well. Completely free to join. If you would like access to either the coaches group or to the business group, then just send me a direct message and just tell me, whichever platform you're watching this one, just tell me which group you'd like access to. And these are Facebook groups. So let me know whether you'd like access to the business group or to the Facebook group. Of course, it'd be great if you listen to my podcast. And if you'd like to be a guest and share business tips and lessons with other people and benefit other people, perhaps in your community or further afield, then please go and schedule a slot at the podcast, and you'll see some details going across the bottom there. But if you want to be a guest on my podcast, then just again message me and just let me know that you want to be a guest on the podcast. I hope that's giving you some things to think about from your customer service. But just think about two things. Wherever you are and wherever you're queuing, how did I get to learn the expectation of this level of service? Am I happy with it? And is it consistent? And generally, I'm happy with it. And very often I'll love it and I'll put up with it because I know what I'm going to get. But I know because the expectations have been clearly set and the consistency is there. Is that what you've got in your business now when it comes to customer service? And I look forward to seeing you on next week's Monday's Moment. And I'm glad that I think I deleted all the copies and now I've got one where, fingers crossed, the microphone has worked and it's recorded the voice as well as recording the images. I'll see you on next week's Monday's Moment. Bye for now.